Minute answer drills are quick quizzes on conceptual content in the chapter. If you're looking for a certain question, watch the bottom left-hand side of the screen for that number, because we're just going to take this from the top. All right, question 1. Is the critical path the shortest or the longest path through a project network? It is the longest. That is one definition of the critical path. The critical path is the longest path through the project. Which actually dictates the duration of the project. All right, anyway, next question. If task A is an immediate predecessor of task B, so I'm going to sketch this. If A is an immediate predecessor of B, what must be true about the scheduled timing of these two tasks? Okay, well, just by definition, A must finish before B can start. That is the classic assumption also in project management. When you say something is an immediate predecessor, it has to finish and then the next task can start. All right, next question. What is the total amount of slack in all critical path activities? That's easy to answer. 0. Another definition for the critical path. It's not just the longest path through the network, it is also the set of activities with 0 slack. So the sum of all of their slack is going to be 0 automatically. Okay, next question. PERT assumes that individual task times can be modeled with what type of probability distribution? The assumption with PERT is the beta distribution. If I were to sketch it, here's a task time, all different possibilities, and here's the probability. Beta distributions tend to be lopsided. That's why I wanted to sketch it. Okay, they tend to have a steep side and then one long tail over the larger numbers. All right, now, next question. PERT assumes that path lengths through a network can be modeled with one type of probability distribution. Now we're talking about path lengths, not individual task times. The assumption is different. The normal distribution. So instead of the lopsided distribution, we have a nice bell-shaped curve or symmetrical distribution. You say, well, wait a minute. PERT assumes beta for the task times and normal for the path lengths? Yes, thanks to the central limit theorem. Anyway, next question. When crashing a project, a manager generally focuses on what activities first? Critical path activities. In a certain sense, that's where the critical path gets its name. To crash a project, you want to shorten it. You cannot shorten a project unless you shorten the path that's determining its length. That is the critical path. All right. Next question. A point of significance in the timeline or history of a project is referred to as what? A milestone. A milestone may be as simple as the fact the project just started or the project just ended. But at any rate, significant points in the timeline, milestones. Which technique better reflects uncertainty in project management, PERT or CPM? Okay, better reflects uncertainty, that would be PERT. Another term for this reflects uncertainty is probabilistic. Probabilistic. PERT equals probabilistic, CPM equals deterministic, right? Everything is absolutely certain. All right, next question. If the early start time of a critical path activity is 7, yes, equals 7, what is its late start time? That's easy. It's 7. Oh, because it said a critical path activity. And another feature of the critical path is that the early start times, the early timings, and the late timings are the same. So if the early start time is 7, it's a critical path, that means the late start time had to be 7. Next question. If the early start time of a task is 4 days, okay, early start time, I'm just jotting this down, is 4. And its early finish time, okay, early finish time is 6. How long is the task? Oh, easy. 6 minus 4 equals 2. Must be 2 days long. Because if you were to subtract the start time out of the finish time, that reveals the length of the task. Okay, next question. If tasks are always finished on their deadlines and never earlier, is this timing known as forward scheduling or backward scheduling? Which of these two? Okay, always finished on their deadlines by definition is backward scheduling. Because how does it get its name? You find the deadline on the calendar, figure out how much work it's going to be, and then you back up to see when you should start. Forward scheduling is you just start as soon as you can, never mind when it was due. All right. If a non-critical path activity is crashed, what happens to the overall duration of the project? If a non-critical path activity is crashed, nothing. You can be guaranteed that. Crashing, shortening a non-critical path activity does not affect the duration of the project. Only tackling critical path activities.